Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's episode of Behind the Scenes, the Alchemist's Process, with me, Sara. Sara Marie, that is my middle name, actually. So, today we're going to talk about the alchemist's process or the alchemy process. And I'm probably going to bring in some real life stories or sequences, situations, because I want to connect the main aspect of the alchemy is to transform something into something else. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So my name is Sara, and I am devoting my life to the alchemy process. I work with alchemy and energy. So for almost 10 years, my husband and I have been running a retreat center in Chiang Mai, Thailand, where I'm living. And we've been working with people on a very deep level. We've been working both bottom up and top down. So I work both bottom up and top down. Bottom up is the alchemy process that we start to release whatever is stored in the body from past experiences, from karmic imprints, a lot of fear-based. And so I've devoted my life to remove all the imprints for myself, because I'm noticing clearly in my life and over time that I felt very limited, and I felt very clearly like this is not. I mean, the reality was the reality of how I felt, but there was something very clear inside of me saying that it doesn't have to be like this. So I made a quick calculation in my head, and I felt like there was too many years left of my life to not do anything about it. So since then, Simba and I have been organizing very, very small but very deep retreats for people, and we have been hosting them inside of our own home, which has allowed us to apply the processes on ourselves, because we have been triggered. When you move in with people and you work so deep over time, and people stayed with us with long periods of time. Hey, so we have a meowing cat. She just woke up, so I knew she would be out. So we've been practicing for many years and been clearing a lot of our own processes. So over these years, then my husband has created his own modality, Internal Alchemy, and that is the result of the work that we've been doing, both of us. So I'm currently hosting 108 days of Internal Alchemy process online here on YouTube that you can tune into. And part of that is that I share a lot of my own story, of my own journey. And the alchemy process in itself is the work that we do is to move the energy in the system. So the energy is stagnant, the chi is stagnant, the organs are not working fully. So the emotional health and the spiritual health and the energetical health and the freedom that we are looking for is, you can either try to override the body, because we all have fears. That is why we are not living the lives that we want to for 100%, because we have fear and we have imprints from when we grow up and from generations of different imprints, good and bad. We're born into a bloodline and we inherit everything. We are born into a certain place in the world, and in that place there's a culture and there's ways of living that doesn't necessarily has to align with who we truly are. So when we start to move the energy in the body, and we used 5 main areas in internal alchemy. So it's the nervous system. So in the nervous system, everything is stored. It's like the memory bank. It's wildly simplified. So when you start to really dig into the body, you realize it's hyper complicated, but it's also simple. You get confused at first, but then you realize, oh, people are making it complicated. God, the body, and life is not that complicated. So once you kind of move through other people's interpretations and you start to really have the experience for yourself, then everything that everyone else is writing, you realize everyone is talking about the same thing, because it's just a different expression of the same feeling. And when you realize, when you experience the feeling that everyone is talking about, then you understand. But in the beginning, when we don't have those feelings inside of us, we don't know what we're working towards. So along the path, we will realize that all of these quotes, and say, you understand what everything is coming from. So the nervous system is the absolute key. It's the memory bank, and that's where we store everything. So that's the main thing that needs to be kind of cleaned out or processed and felt. So it's all of the experiences that we have kind of shut down that we have to experience and finish the experience process in the body. And we use the breath to move energy. And I don't know how many variations of the breath that we use in our practices, but they are many. There's Simba, this is not what I've experienced for myself, but Simba always says that there's a breathing pattern for every emotion or for every state. And I trust him in that, because, I mean, that makes sense. So when we use the breath, so I'm going to do a special episode, probably with Simba, about the spirit of oxygen, because as we are going deeper into the breath aspect, because it's the oxygen that we work with. And when we go deeper into that, then we also start to feel, because we've been doing this for a long time. And when you start to clear the imprints, you get very sensitive. So you sense everything and you feel everything, and the truth of things, of how you are supposed to understand and meet the world, that happens naturally in real time. There's what happens when you start to clear out the past is that there's no interference between you and life, you and what you want to do, you and creativity. There's this massive resistance block of, I don't know what to call it, but I think everyone knows what I'm talking about, because we all know what it feels like to not be able to do the thing that we really want to do. And that is the nervous system's putting a stop and halt to that. And that's, so it's the freeze system that feels like we are disconnected from ourselves, or disconnected from the world, or disconnected from anything. So it's the disconnection that is the main thing to kind of work through, to be honest. And belief systems. If you have belief systems that are not serving what you're here to do, that is an issue, because then you're literally blind. So the beauty of this is when we start to move the energy, then the emotions that is blocking, that is included in this fog, this mess, this gooey energy that is kind of blocking us from the truth and from life force and all of that, that is our past experiences. And as we start to move the energy in the body with the oxygen, because the oxygen, we work with the oxygen and the oxygen levels in the blood. So that creates a shift, a chemical shift in the body that creates the system to start to move things, because that's what we want to do. We want to shake, we want to rock the boat, and we want to have things move around, and we want to clear them, and we want to clear the energy from the organs and from the fascia and in the meridians and, you know, the head and lymphatic system and all of it. We want all systems go. So you have to move, and you have to move more than just normal exercise or yoga. It doesn't, I mean, yoga should move this, but it doesn't in people. So we've come to a point as humanity in our stagnation that the old stuff doesn't really bite anymore. So we have to go a little bit deeper, and that's because it's stagnation in the spine, a lot of stagnation in the spine, and that has to do with the life force energy, the sexual energy, the kundalini energy, all of these energies that people are talking about. But that is actually just physical concepts and energetical concepts that is part of how the body works. And once you start to access these energies, you start to feel how it operates in the body. And then you understand what it is and what it does, because you feel, as you start to clear out the body, you start to feel things come online, and then you have an actual experience, and then you hear or watch someone else, or you read studies about it, and then you understand what they are talking about because you have a real life experience about it. And that's when you start to realize, okay, everyone's talking about the same thing, but just from different aspects. So we move the energy with the breath. We use the breath to move the energy, and we move the energy in the fascia. So it's the fascia that we want to move the energy, and we want to rehydrate the fascia, because the fascia and the whole body is dehydrated and acidic. So if you have any pain, any diseases, if there's anything wrong with you, if you experience that there's anything wrong with you, that is stagnation, dehydration, and acidity, and all kinds of things that is connected to that. But that's like the root. And when you start to move this, it starts to come to the surface. And to go really deep into the body and to really access the root core of the nervous system, we use neurogenic tremors. Because we have stagnation, because we have immobility in the body, we need to go in with energy and open that up on the inside, because it doesn't matter how much we massage. I mean, we have to hydrate from the inside. You can't hydrate the body and open up the muscles and the joints and the fascia from the outside only. So when you do the fascia work, you also combine it with the breath work. That's the combination. It's the combination of breath work, fascia work, and then you also add the neurogenic tremors that starts to vibrate the body, and you activate it from the actual brain stem. So it's a dormant, I mean, you could say technology. It's like a dormant stress healing technology that is available inside of everyone. So once you start to open the body up through the tremors, then you start to have a gateway, and then there's also a lifestyle aspect of it, but that's what we take care of in coaching and things like that. And also in the wellspring, we will start to. So the wellspring, I can talk about that later, but that's a library. It's a membership that is a library with almost 100 somatic practices of these deep practices that literally moves the whole system. So it's a self-paced access that you can just go in and do and move the body by yourself and move the energy by yourself. And then we also now adding the lifestyle aspect. So we're building a membership where you can, do this work. Sorry. And then it's the energy work. So the energy is what we are looking for in the body, the stagnant energy, emotions, energy in motion. So most of the problems that we have is unprocessed emotions from the past. And it's literally fear-based. I mean, you can say that the main emotion is fear, and then there's other emotions building from there. And then we want to guide and direct the energy out of the system. So one thing is to open up and activate, and then we need to guide the energy out of the system. So that is the alchemy process of finding, like locating, identifying, and helping people to, it's like finding something and navigating it out of the system. And when you start to find it, that's also when you start to feel it. And that's where things start to get complicated, because that's when people believe that the past is coming back to haunt them, that I'm back on square one, all the work that I've done is for nothing. I mean, this is literally almost every single person that I work with. So there's a part of the I spoke a little bit about this in the last episode with this, when you forget. So you're going to forget. That's part of the process. So then you need to be with someone who's been, walking a little bit ahead of you and just can remind you all the time. It's like trying to work and someone turns the light off and you're blind. And then you can just ask someone, can you please turn the light on? So it's like coming back to truth, coming back to reality, the real reality, not the reality that is presented in front of you that makes you confused and stressed. So when we work with all of these processes together, and the work that's the bottom up. So the internal alchemy is the way that I work with it. Simba works with it in a little different way. But the way that I work with it, it represents the bottom up. It's the everyday work that I do to move the system, to keep myself healthy, to keep myself mobile, to keep myself vital, and to alchemize and to find and move the energy that doesn't belong. So when you start to do the practices of internal alchemy, you don't need to do anything else, because the energy is going to start to move. The problem is when we start to move the energy and we don't understand what's actually going on, because then we start to move the energy and then it's like the belief systems are like a cap. It's like, if you have a belief system that don't support you, then that is going to create, so the energy wants to move up and out. And then the belief systems are kind of shutting it down because you believe like it doesn't work that way. And the thing with the mind is that it's so strong that it overrides the body. So we have to work with the mind. And that's what I do in my mastermind. Interesting word of combinations there. But that's where we use the practices to move the energy. And then I help explain and coach and guide. And I also show where, because it's so easy for me. You bring your issue to me, you bring your problem to me, and I can see all the energies in play. I can see where you are stuck in a loop. I see all the things. So then you come to me and I mirror it back to you. And then we together can kind of connect the dots. And because the energy is already moving, it's a bing. It's the jackpot straight away, because the body will also showcase what it wants to process by bringing that up to the surface. So when we bring it up to the surface, and the people that work with me come to me and say, okay, I'm accessing this, but I don't know how to, it's not leaving by itself. I'm asking it kindly to leave, but it doesn't, and I don't know what to do. So that's when we find the doorway where we can kind of, that was me guiding it out. But it's like it's like Cluedo, the board game. Current mustard with the screwdriver, or what was it, the thing in the salon or in the living room. It's like you need to make 2 or 3 connections, and that's when it's literally 4 connections. So you need to connect through the 4 bodies. So the soul already knows. That's why it's already other 3 that one doesn't need to be told what to do. The physical body, the emotional body, and the energy body, they all need guidance. So when we connect these 3 or these 4, then it's like a blub, 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 and it automatically disappears. So it's finding the pattern. So it's finding the energy, moving the energy, identifying how it feels, and then expressing that. So there's an expression that is connected, and this is where the this is where the most people have problems. It's to connect the feeling with the expression so I can actually let it go, because the expression is like a pressure in the body that is suppressed or controlled, or people pleased, or all of the things that we do to protect ourselves from being hurt. And so the pressure can be moved like a burp. It can be moved as a sound. It can be moved as a sensation. It could be an expression. It could be something that we haven't allowed ourselves to feel, that we have to just feel and process. It could be anger, sadness, fear, resentment, all of the things. And there's a pattern. So when you work with yourself to a certain extent and with other people, you also start to see that there's pattern in everyone. We all have our kind of special setup, but the foundations is the same. So once you get a hang of that, it's very easy to help people to navigate out of this, because we get stuck. We get and we can't get out, and then we get frustrated, we get pissed off, we get and that's when panic can come, and this is where we can get stuck. If we have a lot of fear in the body, then this can be a very, very difficult experience, because the energy doesn't leave. That's the thing. So I'm very good at, so Simba is the internal alchemy to move the energy in the body. So I'm doing that because he knows what he's doing, and it's working for me, and it's also what my body is doing naturally. So that's why I feel confident enough now to, well, I didn't, and that's why I started the 108 days, to become confident. And my real speciality is the alchemy process and to find the energetics. So I work with energetics. That is my absolute speciality. Everything is energy to me in first, then something second. So I go to the energy first, and that's why it goes so quickly for me to unlock people. And when people actually want to do the work and is not afraid of getting yourself, knee high in your own shit, to be honest, there's just, people are just bulldozing through their stuff, which is very, very cool. So that's basically what we do in the mastermind. And I create experiences, and I create a space where this atmosphere is the only atmosphere, and where there's nothing you've done that you need to be ashamed of, or there's a very specific kind of atmosphere that is allowing healing. So there's a lot of respect and boundaries, but there's also a lot of expression and freedom. And the way that this works, so I have a couple of stories because I'm doing this work myself. So there's no hierarchy in anything that I do. I'm basically just a person who knows how to do this, and I share how to do it, and I help other people walk alongside me, and I help them navigate, because I'm attracting people who have been through similar experiences. And I really believe that the energetics, the bigger energetics of the planet is now allowing us to attract people with the kind of same energetic setups, so that the people who are on the same path as me and has the same desire to become free on the level that I am, they also have the capabilities to move. This is in their path. So if you listen to me and you feel like, yeah, it sounds interesting, but it's, that's not a connection, then that indicates that either this is not a time for you and I to work together, or you and I are not supposed to work together at all. And you coming here and just listening is a part of your path to wherever you're going. So I believe that, sharing this openly and freely allows people also to find their way home. And that's what I feel like we're doing. We're guiding each other home, and we're guiding each other on different aspects of the path. So I'm good at some things, and I'm bad at other things, but this I'm really good at. So then I can help other people who are looking for the same experience. And then I'm looking for, the path, the piece of the puzzle that I'm looking for. I find that with someone else, and maybe they have just that piece of the puzzle and not any other pieces of the puzzle that I'm looking for. So I might have one piece of the puzzle or three, or as for a lot of people that we work with, we have all the puzzles. So they stay with us for a longer period of time and work with us, and then they are free, and then they move on. Our work is to make sure you don't need us, because we don't tell you what to do. We will give you principles so you can set your own self free. It's like okay, you're handcuffing yourself behind the back with your arm. Really? Yes. You look. Oh my God. Okay, so move your shoulder upwards. Lift the arm and make it parallel. And now you're free. Oh, it's like that, but with energy. So it's like untangling us from ourselves. That's basically because the mind is not very smart to be just to be truthful. It's very smart in some ways and terribly stupid in other ways. So I'm doing this by myself. I'm living this. This is not something that I teach and don't practice myself. My own experience is my absolute first expression. I lead with that. And I just saw a notification from Simba, and I have to quit. So I had an interaction the other day with someone who came with a very strong energy that when we have a lot of energy, we want to not, and we are unable to hold it and alchemize it. We need to deal with it in another way. And that's where numbing comes in, and arguing with other people. And, we have these patterns that we constantly do just to keep this energy that we can't maintain ourselves in control. So, and one of those things is that we kind of dump them on other people, which I've been doing my whole life. So there's no judgment from my end. I mean, it's like I can't judge other people because I'm attracting people who are similar like me. So I just basically watch myself, put my foot in my mouth, with I've been doing a million times. So, there's just nothing to it. We all do it. There's nothing to it, but there's something inside of us that just don't want to look at those things. So anyway, that happened, and I kind of absorb the energy, and there's a rage in that energy that is just completely on fire, very strong. And that is, in the beginning of that experience, that is very uncomfortable. It makes the mind go haywire. It will trigger any anger that I have unprocessed in my body. And I still have that because I've had a couple of years that's been very challenging. So I'm still processing a lot of that. And there's also other anger that I'm unaware of. So what happens in a situation like that's my stuff gets triggered. And that's where you really need to, keep yourself in check, because that's how conflict is created. So I have that fire inside of me, and we work through it. And I mean, it's a beautiful process. It's an absolutely beautiful process. And because we are able to move with it and work with it, we are able to release it in real time. And that's the beauty of it. So very quickly, it goes from very uncomfortable to a healthy process in the nervous system. So all of the bodies are just ding, 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 because you you take an old wound and you heal it in real time the way it's supposed to be dealt with. You're supposed to have an emotional reaction, and you calm down and you talk about it and you work through it, and everyone wants to go to resolution. Nobody is projecting, and no one is leading with shame, blame, or fault. That's when you just find that it's just a remarkable experience, and that creates something in the body. So first I had that experience, and I knew, because that also activated something in me, because I stood up for myself. I put the boundaries. I had the difficult conversations. I was in charge of myself and the situation, and I trusted myself to just lead myself blindly in the unknown of that experience, and not get into my head, not allow anything to happen, and then really look at my own behavior afterwards, and then adjust whatever mistake I made, whatever overstep I did, whatever boundary I crossed. I need to own up. And when you do that, when both parties do that, that's just that's when real relationships are. That's when you can do remarkable things with each other, because there's a level of trust that is built from being able to know that you can resolve conflict, and that because people are carrying so much rage nowadays, and people have so much resentment. It's and the belief systems are strong, so you kind of have to find people who are willing to work that deep, if you really want to resolve things to the core. Because what I want to do is that I don't even want to it's like my being is like, what is going on here? It's like my soul has, it's like it's supposed to be that you have access to a certain level of your soul. I don't know, like the human part is, strong in the beginning. But my soul, or there's a knowing inside of me that is like, what are we doing? Why are we feeling like, why we don't? It's like someone inside of me is saying, excuse me, am I the only one that realizes that we don't have to actually feel this way? That this is not the experience? And the soul is like yelling. It's been yelling at me since as long as I can remember. That has also been, I had to move on things. So this actually triggered this process, because I felt that, okay, it's like I have so much energy moving inside of me that this is not normal. This is something else is happening. So I quickly realized that this situation was a pure gift, because so the collision there allows another energy that is deeper but similar. So the first one activates the other one. And that's what we want, the activation of the things that are hidden, that is difficult, and that the body has like, I'm going to tuck it there. And I've done a lot of work. So the things that I'm accessing now is like, oh, and what came up today. And I've been feeling so iffy after this. I knew it was resolved, but in my physical and especially my emotional body, I was feeling like, ooh. And that's where normally the mind starts to project that back to the person that was involved with whatever caused, the movement. So there's a part of us that wants to blame someone, and that's the trauma that creates separation. Love And truth creates unity. So as soon as we know that we want to separate from someone and we start to point at someone, that's when we know that we are completely off, then we are not in our right mind. So this morning, and also I was up all night. I haven't been able to sleep all night. And this morning, there was this massive memory and this anger that came up from when I got fired 15 years ago, maybe. And I thought that I had processed that because that was also the collision that was the breakthrough for my spiritual awakening. And that process was absolutely devastating. I thought I was going to share that today, but I don't think I will, because there's no point in bringing in the story, because my whole body went through the story this morning and I was able to express with myself. So I was holding that experience with myself and I realized what I actually went through, because that was a complete setup. That was not that was not a good thing. However, I cannot stay in the mindset that they did something wrong, because I know that everything is a co-creation and that was meant to happen because I needed to move. I loved working there. That was the prime of my career. I mean, I took something, I mean, it wasn't even broken, it wasn't even born yet. It was not in good condition. I turned it into an absolute success. And it was, I mean, it was magnificent. It was absolutely magnificent. And I got fired from the person that I admired the most. And it was on very shady, I mean, it was absolute nonsense. And when I went through that today, 15 years later, with the knowledge that I have now, I was, no way, they did not do that. And I mean, it's like, it's so bad that it's like ridiculous. And I'm like, wow, they had some balls doing that. And I handled it magnificently. It was the absolute, that was the first time that I took something that was horrific, because that was a horrific experience, especially before when I could feel that they were conspiring behind my back. And it was actually a colleague of mine who said, I think I know what they're doing. And I was like, what? Because there was someone who bought the place that came in. And he said, he's going to give your position to his son. And I'm like, no way. No, come on. And that's what happened. So they had to fabricate a way to remove me. And I was also, the way I am now, I was also back then. I realized looking back, so I had so much revelations this morning about myself that, yeah, I've never been able to, not speak up. So people have a real difficulty believing that I'm a people pleaser. I don't have problems speaking my truth. I have a problem with the reactions that people have from me speaking my truth. So that's when I start to people please. I people please people's reaction. I'm afraid that my truth is going to make people upset. And that's what I'm completely releasing. So I'm turning into myself, and I'm unlocking sides of myself that I've been holding back my whole life. And that's why I need to share these stories and connect the dots. And that is why I host these podcasts. That's why I host the 108 days. So I can evolve, and so that I can share the knowledge that I have. This is like my diary. This is my gift to the world, because I know that this will liberate people on a massive level. The energy, the keys to unlock every part of your life is not secret anymore. They have been secret, but they are not secret anymore. And this is going to be the biggest industry coming, because everybody is going to want, not everybody, I'm sorry, everybody who is willing to go through the process, because it's not super comfortable. But, on the other side, there's just absolute liberation. So, for me, it's just a no-brainer. But for other people, it's not. And I respect that. I mean, I know we're on different paths, so that's how it works. Okay, I'm getting excited here. I'm getting sidetracked, and that's when I'm excited. So this is good. This is working. So I do this I do this because my intuition says that this is going to help me to break free from the limitations that I have. And sitting here talking like this was a limitation that I had last year. So then I started my first 108 days to work through that. So now I'm here, and now I'm speaking way too fast. That's the excitement. Then we'll take a little sip. Interesting. Because my intention has been to work through the pressure of the anger that I still have, that I have from the past, and that I have from the past couple of years that I've been through. So I can't be upset when life presents me with a situation that will help me access the energy that I'm trying to, release. So it's only a gift. On the social level, it looks like a conflict. On an energetic level, it's absolute freedom. So this first situation triggered me to remember this, and to go through this and look at it and really feel the sensations that I was feeling back then. And because I had a faulty belief system, I didn't look at the situation properly, but I could do that now. So when I'm experiencing all the energy coming through me, and at the same time, I'm looking at my belief systems, I'm looking at my emotions, I'm looking at the whole construct, and I can in real time, shift the belief systems back then, and then I release it here. So that's where time and all of these things, that's where you start to touch the quantum stuff that is difficult to explain, but it's connected, and it's when you feel it in the body, it's very self-explanatory. But of course, on an advanced level, I get that. But still, if I'm sitting here, I'm a normal person, I'm 48 years old. Sure, I've spent 10 years, digging into this, but, if I can find it, if I can do it, anyone can do it. So that's where this is getting interesting. And that's why I really want to share all of this, so that people who don't have access to work with others, or, that people can do it by themselves if they're meant to. I'm so sure that there's people who can do this process by themselves and hold their space. So anyway, I realized that the level of the reasons that they were, also pulling up to my face, the reasons why it was not good. And to really feel that and understand that just liberated me on such a deep level. So I've been releasing. It was much, much more pressure in that situation that I knew, that I understood. But what also happens after that is that I'm feeling that there's a pressure releasing. And over time, this is going to be very interesting, because one of the things that I'm dabbling with and have been for a while, it's what is my voice? Because I have a very strong voice. I have a very intense voice. I can be very intense. I can talk very intense. And I can also, I know that I use the voice to break through different layers in the person that I coach. So I use the intensity of my voice to work with the nervous system, because it will. Okay, another side note. I trigger trauma. When you work with spaces that is like, you're not allowed to trigger anything, everything needs to be trauma informed, and everything needs to be calm and safe, and it is safe. It's always safe, but it's like, it's so safe that it's so safe that you trigger your own stuff in a safe, contained space. That's the point of working with me. That is people who are, I need to get out of my own way. And I am open to look at that in order to shift. So when I do that for myself, releasing the pressure, and you notice that I'm coughing, and there's a lot moving in my lungs. If you've been following the 108 days, you know that I'm working on releasing the energy of the heart, is the whole heart space. The heart is layers, multiple layers of fascia. It's not like an organ. It's just layers of. It's like a band-aid, it's not a solid thing. So there's a lot of pressure inside of here, and the devastation, and the heartbreak that that was truly a heartbreak, because that was that was like my own father kicked me out or something. That was horrible. And because my father left when I was young, everything is entangled. So it's easy to see. And when you start to see, you have, a couple of big threads. Everyone has a couple of big threads. And when you start to move those, everything else starts to disappear. So it's about being able to find the root and move from there. So one collision or one challenge or one situation that people would, from a social level, say that initially could have been some sort of collision, is really what was needed to open up the energy so it could start to move. And well, it's about awareness, to be aware of the energy. And that situation allowed me to release another situation that gave me a huge opening today. And I can feel that there's a shift that is changing from where I speak. So today feels weird to speak, because I feel like I'm using a little bit too much strength, and that something is kind of regulating, but it's on different. So I feel like there's something regulating here. There's one aspect regulating here, one in the throat, and then one in the mouth. So everything is connected. So it's like I'm watching myself transform in real time. And that is what I also offer. So what I do for myself, I do for others. And that has been what we've been doing all along, because our home was the retreat center. So what we did for ourselves, we did for others. So we do that still, but in different extents. So we have the home retreat, the first one just checked out this morning. And then you get, that's a lot of energy. That's for someone who really wants to be seen and be in close proximity with us, because there's a dynamic that is between, that's not even about us. That is about what we are supposed to do together on a deeper level. So there's a purpose going on there, which is very interesting. Very, very, very interesting. Okay, that was 50 minutes of As it was so interesting because I felt so not resistance, but I just didn't see. It's like I didn't feel. It was like I felt like the energy was coming from a different place inside of me. So there's, that's interesting. So anyway, the mastermind applications or signups are enrollment. That's what it's called. Is open. So we begin August 26th. So this first round of mastermind has been absolutely extraordinary. Absolutely extraordinary. So now I'm refining the concept, and we're gonna go on a quest. So it's the Miracle Alchemy Mastermind. So I will teach you how to alchemize, and I apply my energetic skills to unlock you. So we go on a group journey, and that is my absolute favorite way to teach now. It's just so much fun. And that's where something just stopped. That's how it works. It's like the transmission is here and then it stops. So I'm going to round up. Thank you so much for today. I have created a free hypothyroidism. How that was the first thing. So I did an episode on that. So that has been finished now. So you can download or you can register for that, and then you will have an email sent with the free compilation. It's 3 videos, and you can do that. The 108 days is on day 27, and it's starting to really take form, the whole process. So if you're interested in what I do, and if you're interested to try the process for yourself, the 108 days is the perfect introduction. Introduction, 108 days. Maybe it's not an introduction. I say that it's an introduction because we start from 0. And then I build you up. So that's what it is. It's foundations because it is from foundation, but it doesn't mean that it's not advanced, because it is advanced. And we move quickly inside of there too, even though it's 108 days, because I build you up to be able to move a lot of energy. So that's also happening. Retreats are happening. You can come here and check in and just have yourself examined. And I'm realizing I'm creating the thing that I wanted. I was just like, can someone just please tell me what the heck I'm doing? Because I'm obviously not walking in the right direction. I'm not wearing the right outfit. I don't have the right tools. It's like, I'm just lost. So I'm providing that. I'm not telling you what to do, but you bring forward what you want to work with or your situation, and I mirror you back, and I release you from top down, the belief systems, and make the connections, and you understand what's happening. And we provide the engine. So both me and Simba are sacral generators. So we're just basically finding our true selves, and then we just look at, okay, how is this set up? And then, okay, anyone wants this kind of setup, this is how you do it. Or someone has this kind of setup and doesn't know how to unlock it, this is how you do it. So I feel like we are starting to realize it's almost like I know I'm a car, but I don't know what brand I am. I don't know if I'm a flirty cab, or if I'm a responsible, minivan. Who am I? So it's like the energetic setup is what is allowing that to show. That's what comes forward. And when we reveal that setup, other people can see, oh, that's where you are. I've been looking for you. So that's the connection. I'm also offering my private sessions for $111. So that's like a one-off Like, oh my God, I have an issue. Maybe you can help me with this. It's like if you are finding yourself in a dark alley with like I'm lost over here, or if the house is on fire, or if you don't understand what's happening, or yeah, if you just need some clarification on these topics, on these matters, you can schedule that. There's a link to my calendar, so you just choose a time and we're on. What else? You can move in here with me, and I will just give you as much as you can take. And we move energy as much as you can handle. It's like just moving stuff out of the system and becoming aware of stuff and looking at things and all of that. So you move in with me, and you have 12 online sessions, and you have me in your pocket for a long time. So that's my deepest level of support. And I also give one of those experiences away. It's miracle season, so you can apply for one of the You and I packages where you move in with me for 3 days, and you get all the sessions, and you get all the Telegram support, and you get all access to everything that I do during that time together. So I'm going to give one of those away. And you apply for that by sending me a message saying, I'm in. And then you fill in the application. And then it's all about energetics. And then at the 108th, I realized my tongue twist when I started saying the word. And I wonder if it is actually how you say it, 108th day. Then I will reveal who won. It's interesting because I'm seeing a pattern. When my main transmission is done and I start talking about other things, there is a completely different energy in me. It's so super interesting. I'm just noticing there's like different parts of me talking. Very interesting. So my thing is that I only do transmissions. I don't think about what to say. I just talk. So, and that is how the body naturally works. You speak from the heart. The tongue is connected to the heart, and it's like your truth and your sovereignty, moves from the bottom, and creativity and like your true expression moves up through the thing. I need to stop talking now because now I'm just rambling. Thank you so much. I'm so happy you're here. If you're in the 108 days, say hello in the Telegram group, and I will see you next week. Ciao, ciao.